Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning.
I know people are steadily filtering in. So, Dina, I'm not sure if you're on yet, but we'll probably hang out for maybe another minute or so, just so people can get in, because every 3 seconds someone is joining. All right, so it looks like it's slowing down. So Dina, I'll let you take over since this is kind of, you've been running the charge on setting this up.
Okay. So Erica Jost actually is the one that let me know that this new software is available in Ohio. I've never heard of it prior to her, so I'm grateful that she was willing to share this with us. So I reached out. She connected me with Michael. He is the I'll let you introduce yourself, but he is our representative for Respond. I don't remember your title officially. So we set this up so he could give us an overview of this new trauma registry software that's available. So Michael, I'll let you go ahead. Thank you for joining us today and making this work.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me. I've been very excited, and thank you, Erica, for recommending me over to Deanna. Thank you, Deanna, for setting things up. So I'm again really excited, and I'll be more than happy to show you about what we've been doing here at Respond. So let me see if just shout out if everyone can see my screen. You good? Okay. All right. So well, I think I said I'm Mike McGivern. I'm the clinical director of clinical technologies here at Respond, and we focus on trauma systems. So comprehensive trauma system is kind of what we're working towards. And as Deanna said, we are releasing our registry system this year. So this is new to us, but we've been in trauma for a while now. Our partner company, Pediatric Innovations, started 17 years ago and has been doing telemedicine systems and other systems of that nature. But we really started getting into trauma about 14 years ago with our video systems, and we've kind of grown from there. So let me just move that here and full screen this here. Okay, so we're Ohio based. So we're here in Ohio. We're a small company. We're not a large conglomerate or anything of that nature. We're just a small group of people who work to make systems like this. And we are, as I mentioned, trauma focused. About 90% of what we do is trauma. And so Respond was rolled into its own organization 5 years ago just to make some of these tools and to concentrate on that area. This is a little bit about overview of all the different parts and modules we have right now. I promise I'm not going to go into all of them. I'm going to just mention a few of them, and most of my talk will be about our registry system, but I will touch on our video system and our arrival system just real quickly because they are what we do the most of right now, and our arrival system has a lot of integration that goes directly into the registry. This is kind of our idea. So we're trying to make a comprehensive trauma management system that covers all areas of performance improvement and documentation, some kind of cost savings sometimes, and management systems. So that's really our goal and what we're working towards. So our video system, and again, I'm going to only touch on this real quick, but it is what we've been doing the longest, is a trauma specific video system. So we built this just for trauma. And it allows video recording of trauma activations. And you can get multiple views. So here we see an overhead view, which we call the procedural view. You can get team views, which is actually what most hospitals use. And it really helps to see how the communication is going with the team and that sort of thing. Now this is a mock, but most of our hospitals are using it for live patients. You can also pull in patient vitals to help you see how the team is reacting to the changing conditions of the patient. And last year we started implementing feeds from CMAX and ultrasound, so you really get a full out view of what's going on during that case. It helps for peer review, performance improvement, and that's really the main goal of that. Team review as well. This can be live streamed, so the trauma program manager can have this at their desk and watch a case live, and of course recorded for later. As the Metro helicopter goes right over us. Sorry about that, guys. It's, if you could hear that, apologize. So our arrival system is an arrivals tracking system. So this is what's more closely related to the registry system. It has some integrations. So you tap your badge at the doorway on our arrival station, and it tracks everything. It tracks who you are, what your role is, and what your expected response time is based on ACS criteria or state of Ohio criteria. You can also have, your hospital can also have their own criteria for different roles as well. So you can set up customized criteria. Maybe you want to track roles that aren't ACS required. So you can certainly do trauma attendings, but you could also track nurses and radiology and other areas. I have some hospitals that will do security officers and chaplains. So it's really up to you on what you want to record that data for. But this is great because this information can then go right into your EHR. Now, I have an Epic slide up here, but we also do Cerner and Meditech integrations as well. But for Epic, I'll just kind of talk about Epic here real quick. We're an App Orchard partner, so we're a partner with Epic, so we have a really good close integration with them. So it's not always just an HL7 interface as we talk about registries, but we can get a lot more data than the typical HL7 setup with a registry. So the same goes with our arrivals as well. And this data, so for arrivals, it can go right into, if you have trauma narrator, it goes right into trauma narrator, goes right onto the patient care timeline and the event log, and that data is all in kind of one place. So all in that place. And then you're able to do a lot of comprehensive analytic reports with our system. So you can see role report, so you can see is radiology, maybe we're fine at 3 p.m., but at 3 a.m. we're struggling. Or over here, I can get an individual report, so I can see Michael McGivern, how I'm doing. And these, like for instance, that individual report could be automatically emailed to me every quarter. So each staff member could get a report in their email to show how they're doing. And this is just a nice, gentle reminder of what the requirements are for being on time from the ACS and from others. So that they're kind of getting that reminder. You can also see how they're doing compared to their peers on the report, and if they're meeting those ACS guidelines. So with that, I will mention we have a scribe system too, and I'm not going to talk, I could talk about that for hours, so I'm not going to really dive into that, but that's a touchpad EHR trauma workflow sheet that we've developed. You can get patient vitals in there. You can create clinical goals, time-based goals. You can do paging of departments from there. And again, that all goes into the EHR as well. But what I'm here to really talk about is registry, because I know that's what everyone wants to see. So registry is our newest module. We've been working on it for about 5 years now, but it wasn't until, just to be honest, it wasn't until ESO kind of bought everyone out that we got a big push to try to make this finalized. Got a lot of calls saying that they wanted some additional choices, and we're hoping that we might be one of those choices. So a little bit about overview about the registry, and then I'll kind of delve into it. We are not cloud-based. So we're not going to be cloud-based. We're not taking the data and storing it off-site. All your registry data stays at your hospital. That's where we feel comfortable with it. We don't feel comfortable with having it on an Amazon server or anywhere else, which I know is a push from some vendors to try to get to that point. We like to have it stored at your hospital securely there. But that doesn't mean you can't access it from other areas. So if you're working from home, you're able to VPN or Citrix in, and everything's web-based. So it's Chrome, IE, or Edge, and you can get into the system, log in, and you're able to access the system from any computer at the hospital, or if you have remote access to, via VPN. As I'm going to say a few times as I walk you through some of the basics of the system, everything's fully customizable. So all the fields, the layout, how we show things are fully customizable. That's really why we took so much time to build a platform to be able to be flexible enough to meet different hospitals' requirements and needs. And of course, we upload to the NTDB, we upload to the state of Ohio, local registries, and TQIP. So all that's there. And as I mentioned before, we have that close integration with some of the EHRs. So I'm going to just show you a few basics within the system, and I'm more than happy to talk in further detail if anyone's interested. But when you log in typically with your hospital domain credentials. So whatever you're using right now to log into your email or your to get onto your computer are the same that you can use for Respond. You can have a separate username and password if you wish. For Respond, but typically we want to try to minimize the amount of passwords you have to remember. So just go with your domain credentials to get in. You get a case list like this, and this will know what your role is and what you should have access to within Respond. So it's all those different parts on that chart that I showed you all have one system. So it's one place to log in. So if it's a video that you want to see, or arrivals data or registry, or even one of our other registries, as I'll talk about later, you just log into one place and everything's there. With some of our Epic integrations and such, we have the ability to have the registry within Epic. So that's something to know, but I'm going to just kind of show you the standard system here. As I mentioned before, everything's customizable. So the data you see here, the columns, how it's presented is all customizable. So if you're maybe on Epic and you typically do a search by CSN, not MRN, or if you're a Meditech and you're doing by account number, we can modify those, and it's very easy to do that. Things like assigning a case to an abstractor or stage are up to you. I know a lot of hospitals, we have registrars on staff who help guide our development of this, and some of them would never do that. So it's really up to you if you want to use some of those tools. You don't have to assign a case, but if you do want to, the system can automatically assign cases in a round robin kind of way to disperse new cases, or you can have a manager assign cases, and that's up to you. Or you can just go in and people can know which cases to go into. You can obviously sort by all the things that you'd think of, date and time and all those types of things. So if you go into a record, again, everything is customizable. So everything you see, if you say these aren't the type of categories we use, or this isn't where I want placement, you have the full ability to drag and drop and move things around as an administrator and build the form as you want. So we're able to get a summary up here. We can do document attachments. So documents can be attached to a case, as I'm sure you do now. But we can also automate some of that attachment. So if there is always a type of report or a type of document that gets put in, we can have some OCR and have it automatically attached. That's an option as well. Going through, we're able to see a bunch of different things here. So I'm going to kind of go through. Real-time validation is an option. So if instead of finishing the case and then validating, you can actually have real-time validation as you go through. It will flag you for certain things that might not hit the validation, either your hospital's validation or the NTDS validation. So I can see a couple examples here that are flagging. Obviously, I don't have a blood pressure in here. So if I put in a blood pressure, I'm able to get that to go away. I can also see that it's saving, so it automatically saves as I go through. And then I can also see here I have a yellow, so I'm able to see which rule is not passing validation. So if it's red, it typically means that this isn't going to pass at all. If it's yellow, it's level 3 type or 4 validation that you need to check. So it flags that, and I'm able to see what about that field might not be passing validation. I'm also able to get the full NTDS definition for that field from the data dictionary. And you can also customize the data source on where you should find that data. So this is great for newer registrars who might have trouble finding where a data element might be. You can decide as a hospital where each field should come from. So you should typically look in Epic for this, or you should look in the the trauma notes, whatever that might be. So you're able to do that and go through. And again, everything saves as you're going through. So you don't have to worry about saving each page or any of that. It automatically saves as you go through. Some other things are, obviously we have peer review, full peer review system, and you're able to comment on any field. So you're able to do those kind of comments. You can put in, you have a lot of different quick keys and things like / for not recorded, or you can click on, say this, to change the date to the reoccurring date. So we have some of those. You can revert back to previous versions of a field. So if you accidentally overwrote something, you're able to do that as well. And if you don't like the real-time validation, you can turn that off as well. So if that's not something that you want to see, that's an option to turn it on and off as you go through. Yeah, I think I'll move on to analytics, if that's okay. So with our analytics system, we have a bunch of different ways you can do things. We have our built-in analytics system, which allows you to query patients and patient groups and just get some general, I just need a count, I just need this group of patients. But we also have integrations with both Tableau and Microsoft Power BI, so you can get more visualization. So I'll show you a couple of examples of that. This is an example of a PRQ dashboard, and you're able to change dates, change what you want included, and kind of go through and see that data. You can drill down to get more in-depth data about any elements. I'm just going to go through a couple of these, but we have 120 ready to go reports out of the box, and we include unlimited customized reports. So we'll never say there's a charge or additional fee to get additional reports. We'll help you build those reports because our kind of motto is if you want it, somebody else is going to want it anyway. So we want to help you build those, but you have full capabilities to build the reports and dashboards as well on your own. So I'll just, let's go with trauma transfer report. Oops, I have to log in. Logs you out too. So I just had this page up quite a while. But you're able to go through and see those different reports. So we'll go through, and here's a trauma transfer report. So it gives you an idea, and these can be exported in PDF, in Excel, in PowerPoint, a whole bunch of different ways that you can do the exports. You can also automate dashboards and reports. So you can have, if you have a doctor who wants a weekly report or a monthly report of a specific set, that can automatically be emailed to them if you'd like. So that's an option there. And I will just kind of take a look at a couple more of these, give you just a general idea of our analytics here. Again, you can drill down, you can see more information, you can do that, and then I'll end with this transportation dashboard to give you an idea of what some of the geographic reports can look like. So I can get information on the specific zip code, and this is transport method. So that kind of thing. So we're able to do those as well. I did have Dana, one of our registrars, wanted me to make sure that I showed how easy it is to build some of these. This is a cross-tab injury report by admin service, and she was just showing how you can drag and drop to build some of these dashboards and reports that I was just mentioning to get the data you want. And it's pretty straightforward and easy to be able to do that. And then you can change the visualizations of it to show, how you want it to show. So that's definitely an option within the system as well, and that's kind of how you build some of those visualizations we just saw. With that, I'll just mention that we are also going to be rolling out a burn, an ICU, and an acute care registry, the same concept, the same system within the next 9 months. So we will have those on board as well. And we are launching, and not really to registry here, but we are launching a SANE system in 2 weeks, actually, which is our SANE examiner system, which is a SANE and a sexual abuse and a physical abuse system. So we'll be rolling that out, some of the same concepts here. And we're 24/7. So even for registry, we're 24/7. That's our standard. And so if you have problems, you don't have to worry about your vendor closing at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. We're here all the time. We get notifications from the system when there is an error or an outage. So we typically know before you would know if there was an issue, and we can address it. And we really try to, and we include on-site training. So we'll be there. And I mean, COVID is certainly changing that right now, but typically we'll do on-site training to work with you to customize everything, to train. And we include unlimited training after that. So WebEx training or Zoom training for new staff is all included. That's all part of our service. And the last thing is that we include all updates. So as new versions come out, you get those as well. There's no additional cost to buy Respond 3.0 or anything like that. That's all included, and you're always going to have the newest version of what we offer. Yeah, so that's kind of what I have. I just wanted to give a quick glimpse of what we're doing. Again, we try to be very customer focused, so we want to hear about challenges and problems. And so feel free to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to go over any additional information on any of these systems, and I'd love to meet you.
Thank you so much, Michael.
Sure.
I see a couple questions popping up. I do have one question.
Please.
For AIS 2015, is that in your guys' system already?
Yes, yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I'm looking at the chat here. Yeah, so for various screens, I can show you. So these are some of, I actually did miss out on trauma resuscitation tab. This is one of the other screens. This is showing the arrivals data going right into the registry system. So you're able to see these are people who badged in, it goes right in there, and you're able to see what will be sent over to the NTB. You can add staff, you can see if they were on time. So that's one of the automated parts. But this is adding procedures, pre-existing conditions. But again, this is customized. So we work with, and we sit down, decide what flow you want for the data, and we'll go through it that way. So the screens you see here might not be the same screens that you might use, because you might have a different flow. Let's see if there are any other questions.
Can we change that flow process on our own, or is that something
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you have full control to be able to move and change how you want the data, where you want it. You can create as many custom fields as you'd like, and you modify those. There's you can create your own validation on those types of fields. So that's where we started. That was our baseline for the system, is to have a customizable platform for different centers. There are different, Jennifer, there are different costs per for different functions. Overall, it's pretty close to the same amount, but if there's an Epic integration or some of those, there's additional cost. For our Epic specifically, there's an in-page system that is an additional cost because Epic charges to do that linking. But typically our annual services is about the same for all different levels. In established databases. Yes, that's a really good question from Peggy. We do take your historical data and we can put it in Respond for not just historic purposes, but also for the analytics part, so that you can run reports and compare from 1997 or whenever you want to do it. There's definitely no cost for Alma, I can't see, and Jen. There is no cost for help or questions or support. That's just part of the service. So it's an annual fee that covers everything, and that's part of the 24/7. And that's our baseline. There's not It's not higher to go to that level, and we do not charge per call or per help desk ticket. It's just a flat rate. So Respond is Melody, Respond is new to the registry system. So we're just getting our initial customers online now, with the first going live later this year. And I don't want to, if the centers who might want to go forward, I'm more happy to say that. But we are not, but we want to keep that until they're live. So how many users can be in the system? There is no limit to the amount of concurrent users within the system. We don't charge per user. I think I got all the questions.
Is there a limit on how many can be in there at one time? I think was one of the questions.
Yeah, we do not have a limit on concurrent users, and we don't charge per user. So it's per center charge. And if it's an institution that has multiple hospitals, there are discounts to that, because we're going to have one system at the IT data center, and that will manage multiple sites, but they can be completely siloed off.
You had said that it will be housed within our own facilities. So is Citrix the typical platform for this, or what is the platform that would be recommended?
Citrix is possible, but typically just going in Chrome or IDE are the the best method. But if you're remoting in, there might be specific policies from your IT department.
Okay.
Any other questions? I'm more than happy to chat more in depth to answer any questions and give some more thorough demonstration. I didn't want to go too far into some of the functions, because I think everyone might have different ideas of what they'd like to see. But yeah, we do have a PI and outcome module and Epic integration. Yes, you can auto-populate data with our interfaces and integrations with Epic. We have a whole big list of hundreds of fields that can be, and data elements that can be imported from Epic. And not everyone wants to do all of them, right? So you're gonna maybe say, well, demographics data is fine, but procedures, I don't know. They don't always code things, the same way we do. So I don't want those to automatically come over. So you really have control on what data you want to come in. Yeah, so Bernadette, it asks, is there a separate application for reports? We have our in-house integration for the basic reports and such, and then we have integrations with Tableau or Power BI, depending on what your hospital prefer. And that can be within the response system, so they can see the dashboards within, or you can use an external tool to do some of the building if you want. It's really, that's part of what we're trying to make available to based on your hospital and kind of what you use there. Are we able to get more information? I can put in if it's okay, I can type in my email address.
Yes, please.
And you're more than happy to ask follow-up questions or get more information from me there. And yes, Patty, we definitely did try to make a user-friendly system, so thank you. Submitting data, I can kind of go through the NTDS data submission process in depth with anyone who would like to.
Is it ran on your system though, and just uploaded as a file? Okay.
Absolutely, yeah, it's through our system. It does the validation of all the cases you submit from our system. Same with and we can prepare the state and the local files as well within our system, and then upload. And then if you're re-uploading in the future for new cases, that's all done through our system, and it actually tracks what you uploaded in the previous versions and things like that. So again, we could go through all the I just want to give a general overview, because I'm sure that everyone has different ideas of what they'd like to see in depth, but we're more than happy to do that anytime. And we're in Ohio, so I'm more than happy to drive out and come and see you. So it's a good reason to get out in the sunshine. So.
Okay. I guess I can also see if we would be interested as a group again to organize another one now that people have seen the product and have more questions. Because, like you said, a lot of us probably have the same questions, and that may be helpful too. So we could see if people would be interested in setting up another time with you as a group to
Sure.
learn more about it, if that's okay
Yeah,
with
yeah, absolutely. I'd be more than happy to. And to address Marianne's question about price, which is probably what everyone. I mean, it is generally comparable to probably what you're paying now. So just if there's Epic integrations and there's other things, that could be more, but generally I would say it's pretty comparable to the hospitals that we've sent proposal to and such, and who we're engaging in right now have been saying that it's generally comparable to what they're paying now. So, all right.
Well, I will be in touch with everyone. Maybe do a survey to see doodle when it works for everyone if we want to meet again, and then we can go from there. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for
And
showing
again,
us.
feel free to reach out to me anytime for anything, any questions. You just want to chat and you're bored, that's fine too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.